LA Lakers. The 9-time All-Star has averaged a triple-double in the last 3 of 4 seasons and recently created history when he broke Oscar Robertson's record for most triple-doubles. Here is Russ yesterday.
I mean, honestly, this stuff happens so quickly. This happened so fast, last week or 2 weeks or so. But we've had brief conversations and talked about obviously what we need to do and how we need to do that. And we'll address that as training camp and as the season comes along, and we'll figure it out.
Russell, do you feel like you have anything to prove?
No, I don't. I've been blessed and thankful to be able to be in this league so long and lucky to be able to play and be healthy.
Max,
yeah.
Start with you. Do you like Russ saying that he has nothing to prove?
No, I don't. I hate it, as a matter of fact. And I get it. Look, Russell Westbrook leaves it all on the floor every night. What else does he have to prove? But Russ, because you do that and because of your talents and gifts and your work that you've put in, you've elevated yourself to a position among the greats. And among the truly great players, we want to know who wins championships because it indicates that they're the best. Now, Russell Westbrook could bristle at that and say, no, that's about the team. But Russ, why is it that if anything, you sometimes do too much? Right? Because if your teammates can't do it, you just got to take it upon yourself because that's how competitive you are. You want to win. You need to win. Now, it's one thing if you were on a team where we look at the roster and go, all right, come on. And then it's an imperfect roster. No roster is perfect. But you have, I really believe, maybe for the second time in Russell Westbrook's career, he has a legitimate championship squad around him. 2016, I thought that was a championship caliber roster. They didn't get it done. The Cavs did. The Warriors didn't. Neither did the Thunder. Okay. Now, for the second time in your career, Russ, you got a legit championship caliber squad around you. And so we want to know, how great are you? Can you be one of the central pieces that is so good that you guys win a championship? We're looking at you, not as a role player or whatever, but as a central figure in the nucleus of a potential championship team. Of course there's something to prove, because you don't have a championship yet.
Here's the deal. I don't disagree with you, Max. I just want to go a little bit deeper in all seriousness, because obviously Russell Westbrook and I have had some differences, and, I've addressed that. He's addressed it as well, and everything's cool. Here's the deal. He does have something to prove, first of all, that he can win a championship. Period. There's nothing else left to prove, just to win a championship. And I don't think he meant what he said when he said in the nation's capital a few months ago that championships don't mean nothing to him. He sees plenty of champions who are less happier than himself. I think what we have seen from Russell Westbrook is a guy whose level of sensitivity has been heightened in terms of people creating narratives about him and him sitting back and him no longer sitting back and just taking it. He's going to defend himself, and he's going to fend off those naysayers and some of the things that they may say, myself included, because he believes that anything that comes close to addressing or attacking his character is something that he needs to debunk. I respect that. So I want to sit up there and say on national television, there's no reason nor is there any excuse for us to question the character of Russell Westbrook. The brother gives us 100% every night. He goes out and goes all out every night, plays at 100 miles an hour. He never cheats the game in that regard at all. Okay. And off the court, never gets in any kind of trouble whatsoever. He's a high character guy. All right. So I want to make sure that I'm clear with all of those things that I just said, because it's incredibly important that people understand. My point is,
do we need a lower third for this, or is it too serious?
Say what?
Do we need the lower third about Russell Westbrook for this, or is this too serious?
Nope, we don't need it. We don't need it. We don't need it at all. Not when it comes to him. Here's what I want him and all the people who love him and know him personally to understand. We are talking about the game of basketball, not his character, certainly not his character as a man, and the great things that he's accomplishing off the court. Max, I was driving down, I think it was somewhere in Burbank, whatever. I mean, Max, it was like a damn near a mile of stores, and all of them were dealerships in his name. The brother's doing big things. I mean, Russell Westbrook's doing big things, man. And there's a certain audience that he's trying to reach and uplift, and he's doing that too. And he does a lot of things in the community that people don't realize about, and he deserves credit for that. At the end of the day, we come back to basketball. And I'm going to stick to my point about this. When you are that great, as great as he is, I don't want to see you in Washington for a team that's squeezing into the playoffs. So that was 13 games under 500. Now, he can't help that. You want to get the hell out of Houston, you got to go where they sent you. And then ultimately you end up landing where you really, really wanted to land, which is back home here in L.A. wearing a Lakers uniform. Fair enough. But now that you're here and you're an L.A. native, and you starred at UCLA, you know what time it is. You know what Laker Nation expects. You know it's about the chip. And you got to go for it. You don't get it, you don't get it. But you really, really, really got to go for it. That chip has to be the priority, more so than anything else. And in the end, when you look at Russell Westbrook, this is what the bottom line is going to be. He's going to the Hall of Fame. We're going to celebrate him one day as one of the greatest players we've ever seen, you know, when you look at what his resume entails. But Kevin Durant, Serge Ibaka, Reggie Jackson, James Harden, then Victor Oladipo, Paul George, then James Harden again, Bradley Beal, and now LeBron James and Anthony Davis were all teammates of yours at one point in time in your career. It's not a good thing if all of those teammates are people that you had and you don't have one single championship to show for it.
No.
Period. That has to be the priority. And again, like when he says he has nothing to prove, no, he doesn't. As an individual performer, no, he doesn't. As a Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame credentials, no, he doesn't with any of those things. It's just with one thing and one thing only. At some point in time, when you got those kind of teammates, you got to have at least one chip to show for it.
Let me just say, we're going to miss Russell Westbrook when he's gone.
Yes,
he's one of those guys we're going to, and for all the haters, you're only hurting yourself because you're missing the ride.
Exactly.
We're going to tell our grandkids that we saw Russell Westbrook. He's that kind of player. Mm-hmm. We want him to win a championship because, almost out of gratitude, most Westbrook fans, because I think fans want it for him more than anyone else. So that on top of all that other stuff, we'll tell our grandkids about him, we can say he was a champion, an NBA champion.
Max, when you say, last point, when you say we're going to miss him when he's gone, you're absolutely right. We're going to miss him when he's gone. But we're also missing him when he's going home in the first round. Because we see inferior players that are playing deeper into their seasons. Now, obviously, it might not be because of them. It might be because of the teammates they have. But I'm saying nobody expected much from you last year because you was in D.C., and we know they didn't have that kind of squad.
Yep.
This team,
there
are expectations for these Lakers. Make no mistake about it.
No
and
question.
Everything
and
they
we'll
gave
have
away
more on Russ later.
was
We'll
worth
get
it.
into
Some of these dreams don't come true for people like myself. And I'm truly blessed and thankful for this opportunity. And, you know, I can't wait to get started. I've been blessed to be able to go into my 14th season. And each year I try to find ways, like Rob mentioned, to be able to uplift and make my teammates better around me. And AD and Brian are friends of mine first. And me being their teammate, my job is to come in and uplift them. And they'll do the same with me, vice versa. And as the season prolongs, we will figure it out. There will be ups, there will be downs, and that's normal. That's okay. But we will figure out how to play the best way that we want to play to be able to win a championship.
The Lakers have been in full retool mode in pursuit of said championship. They, of course, were bounced in the first round of the playoffs. They now have 5 players that have 8 or more All-Star selections. According to Elias, no team in NBA history has had 5 8-time All-Stars appear for them in a single season. The only person busier maybe than Rob Pelinka in the Lakers front office is Dave McMenamin, because he went straight from the playoffs and now he's covering Summer League for us as well and covering the Lakers as always. You were there, or you listened, Dave. What stood out to you from Westbrook's first public comments officially as a Laker?
Well, when we're talking about name recognition type of people, Al Duncan, I'm glad to be talking to you, but the name of the day in LA was Russell Westbrook, and certainly he grew up just 15 miles south of downtown. He said he would skip school sometimes, go to Laker championship parades. And you can talk about the on-court stuff. That's dynamic. That's going to be interesting to see how him, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis share the ball. But it's all the off-court stuff that stood out to me. The fact that he had such a deep tie to Kobe Bryant, and Kobe Bryant felt like he was one of the few guys in the league that shared the same type of competitive spirit that he did. The fact that the first time he ever